People by 2050, Earth is estimated to be overpopulated. In past 2 centuries, our population increased from 1 billion to 8 billion people. Hello everyone, my name is Gaurav and welcome back to the channel. In the late 20th century, the world had realized the population threat and certain countries had started taking population control measures, and there is only one country in the world which did not take this measure. The country I am talking about is Ireland. Ireland is a country in Europe and its population has not increased in the past 2 centuries. Yes, you heard me right. The population of Ireland in the year 1821 was 6.8 million and today it stands at merely 5 million people. Therefore, making it only country in the world whose population has not increased in the past 2 centuries, rather it has decreased. So the simple question here is, why has the population in Ireland not increased as it has increased around the globe? So the simple answer to this is a series of events which took place in the past 3 centuries. There are two major factors which have contributed to a drastic change in the population pattern of Ireland. One of them was British policies and the second could sound funny to you, but it was potatoes. Now talking about potatoes first. Now potatoes are indigenous to Caribbean countries and the American countries. Now potatoes were introduced to Europe in the late 16th century, and in 1580 Ireland started cultivating potatoes, which gives 3 times calories per acre as compared to grains, and hence it was very obvious that country which is cultivating a nutritious crop at a large scale will witness a hike in its population. And this is exactly what happened in Ireland. Irish population was 3 million in the year 1700 and by 1840 it was nearly 8 million people, a record growth rate of 266%. By the mid of 19th century, potato was a staple crop for most Irish people and they were highly dependent on it for their survival. Now ladies and gentlemen, what we need to understand here is that everything has two sides, white and black. The white side was that potatoes helped the Irish population grow. But the black side appeared in the year 1845 when the famine had started. Due to the famine, the potatoes were getting wiped out, and by the year 1846, all the potato crops were vanished from the country of Ireland. Now, here comes the second problem, which is the British policies, which only made the situation worse. The first British policy was that London had refused to ban the export which was happening. Therefore, a country which was already starving to death was bound to export food to London, hence making the situation worse. The second policy was that the government had denied any and all relief to anyone who had quarter acres of land, and since the blight was ongoing, the existing land was of no use. Therefore, the situation was the poor farmers sold all their crops to pay their taxes or their rent, and the ones who had seen blight were incapable of applying to government's aid unless they had given up their land. This policy nearly forced 2 lakh Irish people off their lands in just 2 years between 1849 and 1850. Therefore, to conclude the situation, within a few years, 1 million people died from malnutrition and starvation, following which there was a refugee crisis, and around nearly 2 million people had fled the Ireland in the next 10 years. Hence, in a decade, Ireland lost 3 million people, nearly 38% crash of the population, one of the most apocalyptic losses of people. So in 1855, the famine had ended, but the problem had not finished yet. The 38% loss in the population over 10 years hindered development and opportunities and encouraged continuous immigration caused by democratic turbulence, violence and lack of economic opportunities. The issue continued to escalate after World War I when the Ireland had to fight for independence from the British, following which there was again a period of economic instability and political hindrance, which was followed by violence over the political status of Northern Ireland that lasted for a decade from 1960s to 1990s. And it's obvious that there would be no zero foreign investment in a politically unstable country. So ladies and gentlemen, there's a precedent we need to derive out from the case study of Ireland, that not all famines and tragedies are natural, some are artificially created due to political reasons. So in the 18th century, there was a British economist called Thomas Malthus. He published a counterintuitive theory and principle of population. He said, increase in food leads to population growth, which ultimately leads to poverty and famine in the bigger picture, which would result in people dying in masses, bringing back the population equilibrium. Hence, if we analyze, this was exactly the theory that the London had intensified to reduce the rapid growing population in Ireland. So today the population is back to 7.1 million, still a million less than what it was before the famine and 20 million less than that it was expected to be in Ireland. Ladies and gentlemen, we move towards the end of the video, and in this video we have two major takeaways. First, that the Britishers were responsible for the death of 2 million Irish people. Second, that the Britishers have always valued profits over humanity. With that, I conclude this video. Thank you so much for watching the video. I'll see you in the next video. Till then, peace out. And also don't forget to like, share and subscribe.